Holy crap. It's the KV6. Oh my god, there's so much lag. We got infantry boys. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. So happy July 5th. How was everybody's weekend? Did you guys celebrate July 4th? I've got some fireworks footage that I recorded on my cell phone. Not the, highest quality, but it was pretty cool to see the fireworks display that was put on by some family friends of mine. They basically wired up like a bunch, I'd say probably like 6 minutes of fireworks, basically using one long wick and combining it all together. It was pretty cool. It was pretty good amateur pyrotechnics. It kind of inspired me to hopefully next year, do something similar without blowing any of my fingers or toes or face off. But it was a lot of fun. Took the weekend off, made the videos prior to, and it's fun to see everybody still really happy, really enjoying, and really supportive of the top 5 series. So I wanted to start a new series because I think that one of the issues with YouTube and YouTubers and those who watch YouTube videos, which I'm also one of those, I'm a YouTuber and a fan and a viewer and a member of many other communities of other YouTubers, and I also in some cases am actively invested in other YouTube channels in thinking, wow, this guy's got, or girl, has a lot of talent, and trying to help them out, right? Like in terms of knowledge or just experience. There's a lot of stuff I don't do very well. There's a few things I do well, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick. I've got a few talking points, but basically I thought that why we have these custom missions in the background. One is made by BF Hellpower, and it's just like the infantry carnage versus the Hetzer, and he's even got the quote KV6 in there as well. And then the other one, the wooden plane, is by Peter V, and I saw his, it's a Reddit link. I'm going to put the Reddit link to Peter V, and I'm going to put BF Hellpower's Live.War Thunder mission link in the video description below. But I kind of wanted to talk about what I think is the draw to my channel and what I'm trying to do. And it's quite simple. I think the draw to my channel and what I'm trying to do is have fun. Am I the best in War Thunder? No. In the top 5 series, there's so many interesting issues just with my personality and just with how I choose to approach things in general, which if you honestly thought that there are people out there who say, Baron, you think you're the best at War Thunder. But if I know for a fact that I'm not even close to the best at War Thunder, it's an interesting claim to make, right? But I wanted to get overall into kind of increasing the transparency as well as the connectiveness between myself and you. And I think that there's been many people who've done series where they're questions. You leave questions, and the top questions or the randomly chosen ones are picked by the YouTuber or by the person, and then gone over in a video format with background video, and kind of like what we have here with these crazy custom missions. So if you guys want to make that a series, you guys know what to do. The way I judge things is by the quality of the comments and the conversations going on in the comments section, as well as the amount of likes. That's the reason why World of Warships Wednesdays is now a thing, and why the top 5 series is a weekly series on Sundays. We missed Men of War Monday yesterday, and that was because that's one thing I'm still not entirely sure how transparent I should be, and that's the family health issues that have definitely affected me since, I would say, August, September. And that's I don't really know how to open up that can of worms or how. I remember opening up a few weeks ago when I was in Georgia on vacation. And you know, that's one thing. But I'd say one of the best examples that I know, one of the communities I'm a part of and I'm a fan of, is the Mighty Jingles, and he's got Mingles with Jingles. It's a very successful series. A lot of my friends and compatriots within the War Thunder or wargaming communities have questionnaire series, whether they've started and stopped them after a while or continued them on. I'm not sure if it should be weekly. I'm not sure if it should be bi-weekly, monthly, whatever. I feel like the community is usually the best indicator of how often it should be. And so if you'd like that, if you'd like a Ask Baron series, or if you have some fun names for it, let me know. Because there's a lot of this in like judging and seeing what's happening with lack of transparency. Like if you guys are familiar with the CSGO Lotto scandal, like I would honestly call it a scandal right now. Basically where two YouTubers own a Counter-Strike skin betting site, didn't tell anyone they did it, and then faked videos of them winning big money. And then it's like there's all this like, oh, once you get big and you lose sight of who you are, there's all this stuff which, don't get me wrong, has happened to people throughout the history of mankind. There are those personalities and there are those people that have let greed get a hold of them and all that stuff. But I think for one question, and it was kind of funny when I was advertising for an app, for the Golden Eagles app, and then I kept getting like a lot of flack for it, I would say, because people were like, it was an app that's supported by Gaijin. So I was like, oh, maybe people would like this. Baron, where do you get your Golden Eagles? So that's one thing to address, I think, is that I get Golden Eagles from Gaijin. They used to give out press accounts, and that was a thing. So it was like you had all the vehicles already there. And then they've gotten rid of press accounts. I'm not entirely sure why, because press accounts have been in video games, I think, pretty much since Steam. Like you can get there's actually Steam press accounts out there. Tell me you don't want one of those. All the games for free, but those are usually reserved for people who review stuff, right? So press accounts are usually for people who can give publicity to a game, or so that they can review things, and so that they don't have to basically, because you only have a certain amount of time. And I think that's one of the things that definitely does affect us in the War Thunder and wargaming communities, is that these are grind centered games. They're free to play. So what does that mean, right? Think about it. Free to play games, and how do the companies make money? They've got to make it off of selling premium time. There's some really shitty games out there in apps where like pay to win, right? And that's the one thing that I think free-to-play games try to avoid the most, is getting that reputation where you are a pay-to-win game. And I think when you look at War Thunder, in most cases, when it comes to premium vehicles, as well as premium time, it's pay to progress faster, right? And that's the thing. When I first started playing War Thunder, I think I dumped overall like $200 to $300, maybe even $400 in premium time and premium vehicles and all of that. So, and then I remember NTAC back in the day started doing videos for Gaijin, and he got a press account, and Fly Daily, NTAC, and I were all bros at the time, and that's a story for another day. And so he helped secure press accounts for Fly Daily and myself. And then so I had a press account for probably like, after doing it for maybe a year or something like that, maybe. And at the time it was like Gaijin gave out press accounts to all the like YouTube channels that were of decent size, or other like YouTubers who were established in other games who wanted to play. Like I helped secure a press account for my buddy Bob Meiskirm at the time, so that because my approach to this channel is I'm trying to entertain, I'm trying to have fun, and I want it to be visible that I'm having fun. That's the reason I play this game. That's the reason I make YouTube videos on it. Now, do not get me wrong, I can happily say that I'm fortunate to be in the position I am, and it was given to me by you guys and your support. I can play video games, and then after playing a video game for, like, let's say an hour, then you've got to edit and render and upload and all this kinds of stuff, and there's a lot of background work. So I'd say for every hour of gameplay, I'd say that there's 2 hours of background work, maybe 2 to 3 hours. And I'm one of those channels that, like, I'm not the most talented editor, right? There's some pretty good ones out there. Slickbee is one of my favorites. I think of him as a little brother, so I'm obviously emotionally biased to him. But I'd say that he's a pretty good editor. I like his style. There's a lot of really good channels out there that I'm a fan of, like Squire Flyer. Good lord, talk about high production. That guy produces some great work. Yes, and if you guys don't know who he is, you're living under a rock, mate. But and I do tend to ramble, so if I do so, feel free to ask me questions if you guys want this series to go. But yeah, I'd say that for every, like, hour of gameplay, then you got to cut it down. And you guys play War Thunder, and if you think that all of my games are just peaches and gravy, which would not be a very good combination, then you're crazy. You have your bad games, you have your good games. There are days you go out there and you just shit golden eggs, right? And you dominate game after game after game. Slickbee and I had a game like that, or a play session maybe last week where we were taking out the Tiger, and the German teams just rolled game after game after game after game. And if you're a German tanker, that doesn't always happen. If you're just a tanker in general. But so, you have your good games, you have your bad games. So I can't go out, and every now and then you put together a fail montage, or like, does this tank still suck, or do I still suck at this tank? So that's another thing to be aware of, is if you're coming to my channel in hopes of learning how to be the best tanker in War Thunder, you're at the wrong place. If you're coming to see how, in a game where if you're not careful you can get bottled down and bogged down, rather, I guess that would be a more appropriate verbology. Yeah, I'll make up some words. It's going to happen. Like, I want to have fun. I want to show that video games are still fun. I want to play the video games I have fun with. And I love War Thunder, man. It is a lot of fun. For me. Like, and it's one of those games where like, you go out and you get one-shotted like 30 seconds in a game, and you're a little salty about it. And then you have the games where you go out and you get a double ace, and you're just like, man, that was thoroughly satisfying. And then there's some playful banter with the teammates who you're playing with, or just like the banter that, in a solo commentary, because I'm one of those channels that I enjoy playing with other people and squad mates and friends, because one of my inspirations for starting YouTube was this British duo called the Yogscast, Lewis and Simon. They played Minecraft. Dude, I wanted to play Minecraft as a channel, and I tried. Some of my earliest videos are Tech It series, which were directly inspired by the Yogscast. And I saw these two guys go out and play video games together. They were laughing all the time. They were just joking around. They weren't overly amazing at the game, even a game like Minecraft, but they made it fun. They made it look fun. They made it seem fun. It was entertaining, and I was just thinking, these guys are playing video games for a living with their best friend. And that was my inspiration. I've always tried to create groups of people on the YouTube space. Going back, like, if you've been here a while, and there's even the comments now like, hey Baron, why don't you play with so-and-so? And the problem with relationships, especially, is if some people start to view you less as an ally and more as a competitor, they're going to allow the relationships to deteriorate. Whereas I've always, from day one, been a big believer in teams. I am totally fine with sharing growth, success, and fun with other people, because that's my outlook on life within this YouTube channel and in video games, right? That cannot be, understated enough. I am about fun, right? But that doesn't mean so this is a rather serious video. Every now and then I put them out. It's not all me yelling tits and laughing in terrible German accents. Although those are the things that I usually try to hold to. I usually try to keep the content of the channel based off of, because that's what I'm trying to promote. That's what I care about. That's what I'm passionate about, is video games and fun and humor and laughter and good times. And it's not all good times, and that's indicative of plenty of videos up there where I do shit, right? Or I'll be on a jungle map and I will literally forget to change my skin, and there I'm out with snow camo, right? I don't take myself too seriously. I hope you guys don't either. And if you do, you're at the wrong channel. And there are other channels out there that they're all about, this is the best way to play, this is the only way to play, this is how we're going to do it. They're out there. You can find them. So, hey man, if you leave, I will be sad. I will wave goodbye. But for those of you who stay, man, I appreciate it. It's great times, because we're here about fun. So what I want to try to do is increase transparency and decrease the distance, right? What is it? Breaking the fourth wall? I don't really even know what that means, but I know generally it's a phrase that is used for movies or TV. I could be wrong. Please, someone in the chat, let me know in the comments. But basically, I'm trying to decrease the distance between us, because I think a lot of people, when they get frustrated, are like, oh, this YouTuber, all they care about is or they're so big now. And I'm a relatively medium to small size channel in the grand scheme of things. When you consider someone like PewDiePie, maybe a year ago, got more subscribers than is the population of Canada. That's pretty nuts, right? So I'm trying to increase that. And so if you guys want to do a question and answers series, I'd be all about that, because I've noticed that in creating these series, there's a lot of interest from our community. With World of Warships Wednesdays, Men of War Mondays, and the Top 5 Sundays. And yes, I'm sorry that there was no Men of War Mondays yesterday. Every now and then we will miss weeks. But if a series is so wildly supported, it becomes clear. It's you need to do this as reliably as you can. If it wasn't July 4th yesterday, and I didn't have plans with family and friends and my girlfriend, what? Then I would have done it, and there will be one this following Monday. So let me know your questions. So I wanted to talk about Golden Eagles. I ask Gaijin for the Golden Eagles, and I know that some of you are may think that's unfair, and that's fine. You're definitely entitled to your opinions and your thoughts. I just think it'd be more appropriate to be constructive criticism, because there are pros and cons to that. The pros are that I can maintain the series of Tank Request. The Tank Request series is something I've done for quite a long time, and I believe that in the War Thunder space, I was the first one who screenshotted the comments and put them up, and to make it clear that your requests are what's driving the Tank Request series. And one of the obstacles of being a YouTuber and wanting to play a game is I have to be very judicious in how I allot my time. I can't hop on War Thunder and play it for 9 hours, right? I can't do that anymore. I can't even oftentimes I can't even hop on and play it for 6 or 7 in a row, right? And so that means that oftentimes if I'm going to continue and maintain a Tank Request series, or a request series, basically, you guys are going to give me anything from the lowest battle ratings to the highest. And when I first started it, the most common thing was that people requested high tier jets, high tier planes, and just to go down an individual tree, you guys know, you play the game, that it takes quite a while. You have to play through 5 to 10 different tanks to get to that top tier one. And then it's like, oh, play the Tiger 2. Now play the Jagd Panther. You know? Now play the Doom Turtle. Now play the M60. Now play the Leopard. The Leopard just came out yesterday. Baron, could you play that? How do you think I'm going to be able to do that? I have to ask for Golden Eagles. So I don't get paid by Gaijin to play the game. And I think that's something I wanted to make clear after this whole CSGO Lotto thing. I'm not invested in Gaijin. I have no financial tie to Gaijin or any game company. Now, would I love to develop video games? Hell yeah. And if you guys ask any questions about like the games I'd want to make, well, here's my question to you. What kind of games would you want to make? Right? Because that's one of the coolest questions, I think. But anyway, I wanted to start a series where there's better communication, because I think in any relationship, my relationship with you, your relationship with me, our community, our relationships, you know, and ties to this community all depend on communication. So communicate with me, ask me questions, give me constructive criticism. I am one of those people that believe in continual self-improvement. I think it's one of the points of life, one of the main objectives. Love and self-improvement and enjoyment. I think those are like, you know, in family, all of that. I think those are the most important things in life. So I would like to continually improve myself as a person and this channel, and you guys can help me do that. So all that said and done, I think that's going to wind down this episode. If you guys have ideas for a name for a series of questioning and answering and kind of, you know, better community, let me know and ask me your questions. And if you guys want us to be a weekly or bi-weekly series, let me know and we'll do it, because that is how it's going to work here. And we're going to have fun. I'm going to have fun. I'm not the best, but I'd like to say that I'm close to one of the best at having fun. So if you're here for any other reasons, this may not be the best place for you. If you're here because you think it's silly and derpy and funny, hey man, stick around.